Oh, you just love it. You start the video and you got things falling. My scratch. Iron Cat's in the house. Must be not grilling season. He ain't been in here in a bit. Did you miss me, buddy? I missed you. Yep, my whole Iron Cat. Hey, okay, there's what we got. We got an exciting video today, leading to some really good. And you're gonna have a screw up, ain't you? He's a dumb cat. I gotta move him because I'll tell you what we got. We have a box here. This box is gonna lead to another box, and this is the kind of videos I really like because I get so excited about something new in the first place. It's almost like Christmas, ain't it? Let's open the box. Okay, this is from Wolf Creek Saw Shop. Ryan does this sometimes. He really does. Yes. He shows his appreciation. Therefore, I show mine. Mutual respect, isn't it? Oh, goodness sakes, look what I got. And I needed this. I asked Ryan about it. I said, Ryan, I need a new hat, buddy. And I got my ears lowered. I almost shaved. I didn't want to completely shave this morning. It was hot when I got up. Okay, that is going... Oh, guess what we got, guys? We have new stickers. I like to put the Wolf Creek stickers on the saws that I build with Wolf Creek parts. If I don't build them with Wolf Creek parts, you don't get them. But that's the new stickers. Boy, that ain't showing up for nothing. There we go. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, buddy, thanks. This means as much to me as anything. Who don't like stickers? Right? Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. For a personal build. Or maybe one of yours. This is for a 395 Husky with a big bore. Spark plug, caber. Is that a caber ring? I think so. I'm not sure. Okay, let's take a look at these cylinders. I'll tell you what I've been doing, guys. I believe in being honest. I'm not going to lead you in the direction that I don't go myself. That's a promise. Never will. If you think I have, call me out on it. Maybe I'd have some explaining to do, huh? Hopefully not. Everybody screws up once in a while, let's admit it. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what that is. I have been using, and I have a hard time saying this right, the Titanocell Cylinders. The real nice shiny ones with great success. Great. They're awesome. But I'll tell you what I've ran into on two of them just recently. The flaking peeled off. And it might have been my fault. I know one thing about them. You better, wherever you're going to pour, if you try to use the Titanocell, you better take a round diamond burr and go around and get through that plating. And I'll tell you another thing is, your tool direction, I'll get my little Dremel. I still use my Dremel, trust me. If it turns this way and you get this where that it's cutting underneath and lifting up under the plating, it's going to flake off. I don't care what plating you got. You want to rotate as you're moving where your plating is. Concentrate on rolling down into the plating. Yeah, it's tough on tooling, but that's the way to go, believe me. So I've started using the Titanocell cylinders again. The Highway has been so good for me over the last few years that I've got a lot of logging saws, not just playing around saws, logging saws out there with this particular cylinder. They have a nice cross hatch. I did find that the Titanocell was too smooth. I had to start with either 320 or 400 ball hone and break that glaze to get the rings to seal properly. Then it was fine. Tried and true. Now, this is big bore with a pop-up. You know what I do to the pistons. We clean them up, heat treat them, the whole 9 yards. But they are a nice cylinder. Very, very nice cylinder. I'm really happy with them. Everything is round now. In most cases, once in a while you'll get one that isn't, but you'll see Steel or Husqvarna OEM. The Molly cylinders do the same thing. But yeah, nice exhaust. The shapes is what I like. I like these shapes for logging saws. We're going to get into some special builds here in a bit. But I'm going to tell you something. That's not where my heart lays as a rule. I logged for decades. Had to maintain my own saws. And I built saws for other people too. And local guys mostly. And they were happy. I was happy. It worked out. It was made some good connections, some good friends from it. And I still build a lot of their saws. Some logging companies that send me 4 or 5 saws at once to rebuild. And some of them want it imported. Some of them milder than others. But it is what it is. There's some crazy things you can do to saws. There really is. You can do some really advanced stuff and get all the bagfuls of horsepower if you know what you're doing. There's a trend out there of people that may cut a little firewood, but they want to cook cookies. I'm not a cookie cutter. I'm sorry, if I'm going to run a saw, I'm cutting my firewood. And we got something to cut. So, there you go. I'll build black. You're going to see people trying to make boost sports and more transfers and lightning strike crap in their freaking cylinders. But I'm going to tell you, when you get that out of your system and you know, first thing is, if you want to add ports to a saw, you better know how much volume do you have to move up your transfers. The last thing you want to do is slow that up much. But you want a larger lowers, like we discussed, but not slow up your airflow through where it comes in above the piston. Okay, that's got to be accelerated. So when you add too much, get your timing numbers off. If you don't know the numbers, forget it. It takes experience to make a good saw that way. But I will promise you one thing. When you start putting the extra boost ports in on the intake side, that's where all you wear on your piston is. You ain't got a logging saw anymore. What you got is a toy. And I'm not taking, especially the OEM cylinders, but I'm not taking these cylinders and do them either. Okay, let's just take a look. Okay, some Skf bearings. I know what that's for. That is for a Steel ms660. And 372 cranks. More Skf bearings. Got a pile. Thanks, Ryan. Man, you're hooking me right up. Steel 66 mag, ms660 crank. And more 372 cylinders. I'm going to show you something. This one actually is for terrain roads. His was one of them that I was trying to get it done quick so that him and I could meet. And so I could give him a saw. This will be the second saw I built for him. But a Titanocell cylinder, excuse me, if I cough, don't worry about it. I have been sick, I will tell you that, for about 3 weeks. And the recovery time has kind of been hell. Big C. Sorry. That's the way it is. That wasn't as rough for me as I thought at 61 years old, but it was bad enough. Okay, what we got here. You can see what I'm talking about on these cylinders. If you try to cut a boost port up in some kind of crazy way on each side there's no place for them pistons to ride. And you have to have a load bearing service on each side of them intakes. And if you don't have, I will promise you, you're going to take that piston out. Oh, you might think, oh, gee, it runs 6 months. Well, because you're cutting cookies every third weekend or something. Go out and run that saw like a logger. Run that 8 hours a day. In fact, just run it 8 hours. How's that one? I get a hard on about some things. Yeah, when you got your building saws just to toy with, play with, it's your money. It's your dime. You do what you want. But I'm going to tell you what, if you're doing it for somebody else, it's a logger, build them solid saws, you know. I'd rather build solid and sacrifice that little bit of horsepower. That's what I'd rather do. It's a little bit. It is not a lot. But you can screw it up if you don't have your timing numbers. If you don't know how transfers work, you don't know how much pressure you can have coming in above the piston, don't do it. It's a bad idea. It really is. Okay, we got several of them for the 272s. Here was a curiosity for me. He sent me a couple of these highway mufflers because some saws I do just a muffler mod on. And I actually needed this particular one for me. And I was wanting to know, you know the steels, what they do is they got this box with holes in it right around that port. And you can take them out and make gains. Okay, this one is a dual port. See, there's one port, and then you got another one right there at the front. That's a nice cylinder. But it's got this box, okay? This is a true dual port. I tell you where this might go. And this is where this has been leading up to. Okay, there's gasket kits. I got a cylinder here, actually. What this is it's a 272. That is for another fella's saw that I had a problem with flaking after I put it out in service. So this is why I'm going back to Titanocell. I've tried it. I like it. It works for me. And that's what we're going to do. But let me get some of this stuff out of the way. I got enough here, didn't I? How to get a hold of Ryan. That question's been coming up some. A lot of you guys figured it out. Ryan's a busy man anymore. And he'll treat you right. He'll stand behind his product. That's one thing I like. If you got a problem, no questions asked. Boom. He might say, well, did you know this or know that? But yeah, I'll send you one right out. No problem. I'll take care of you. Well, you want me to send the old one back? No. No, don't mess with it. Just send you another part. That's good. Try that with steel or Husqvarna. They're going to argue the point. Guarantee you. And I like them. Okay, you get a hold of Ryan the best way. And he'll treat you right. You tell him Iron Horse sent you. Is Wolf Creek Saw Shop, all one word, at gmail.com. Email him. Tell him what you got and what you're looking for parts as soon as he can. He's like all of us. He's wearing many hats. He'll get back to you and go from there. That's the very, very cleanest and best way for Ryan, and that works for me. I'm loving it. Really am. Okay. This we have here, and I really want to look at this one. I had it out, and I put it back. Okay. Where'd it go? I lost one. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. I just love taking things out of boxes. Okay, here is what we got. We have a ms660 big bore with a pop-up. Now, like I said, another nice cylinder. Just a nice cylinder. Just really, really nice stuff. You can't beat this stuff. You think you can. See, these saws are getting old enough. The OEM cylinders that you get with the saw used, they're run out. You think they're not, but they can look good and still be run out, especially on that intake side on these bigger saws. But even the smaller ones are the same way. So take a little advice from somebody that knows. Sorry to say it, guys, but it ain't a perfect world. Not a lot of things match up. Okay, I'm going to tell you who this is for. This cylinder and some of these parts I'm getting ready to show you are for odiehorse 1. He's got a small YouTube channel. Okay, he is a professional logger and has been for many years. He works in Northern California. He does some of the nicest drone footage you've ever seen. Okay, here's one mad respect thing for him, but it complicates the build. He does a lot of timber recovery in these wildfire areas. He does. Works up in the Grand Sierras all the time. Go check out his channel, odiehorse 1. And just tell him Iron Horse sent you. And he's getting a saw. But it's got to run in extra dirty conditions. It's got to be able to run a long bar. Some of their timber's pretty big that he cuts. And that's hard, nasty, hot work, what he does. Mad respect to you, bud. Mad respect. The channel's building the saw. Okay? That's what it's doing. We have other saws being built at the same exact time. I'm going to put a bottom end together that's very strong for him. When I show you what his saw looks like now, and when you see it later, it's going to absolutely astonish you. But we don't care about looks. That's not what we do here. And we ain't all kind of fancy about things. What I am going to do is build him a saw that suits his cutting style and his cutting needs. I watched a lot of his videos on how he likes to cut. And I'm building a saw just for odiehorse 1. And it's on our nickel. And the reason we can do that is because of all of you. We're going to start doing more of this with other channels as they crop up. Building a saw for a channel here and there. Even guys that already port. If they want it, and I've talked to several of them, yeah, I'll build them one. I'm going to build them just a logging saw. Now, here's what's special about odiehorse's saw. He uncomplicated things for me by being a professional logger. Professional loggers seriously know how to sharpen, okay? You know what the biggest killer of a saw is? Heat. Dull chain. Kill a saw. The more horsepower you get out of a saw, the more RPMs you get out of a saw, either one. They don't always go hand in hand, the more heat you get. If you're running a dull chain, that's working its guts out to pull that chain, and it will, especially ported saws. If they're dull, they don't last long. Odiehorse 1 will keep us all running together a long time. There's no question about that. But he needs the right saw, and we're going to give it to him. We are going to build, or I'm going to, I say we, yeah, I got a mouse in my pocket. Don't that count for something? I can't wait to build a saw, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me get this box moved, and let me show you what we're starting with. So I got some parts here. I'm not going to open this just yet. I know what it is. Just bear with me. I'm going to build it as a 99cc saw. 100cc class saw. Got him a couple nice stickers. We don't pull them off, but the same as old Dave. The 99cc with the steel emblem. You'll get the same thing I got. This is where all the fun is. Now, another thing I'm actually doing, believe it or not, we're going to do an oil pump mod. And that's something you're going to want to know how to do. The problem with oil pump mods, when I show you how to do that, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do it just like Iron Horse, but that didn't look like much of a difference. I'm just going to go further. You'll know what I'm talking about when we get there. No. I'm going to show you the maximum that you can get out of your oil pump without it going in the opposite direction. They'll only pump so much. But you can make a pump 20, 30% more. Depends. I like the 272s. That whole series of saw, their oil pumps sucked. They did. Sometimes the factory screwed up on them and they built a good pump. Yeah, they did. Let me put this back in here. And like I said, what I've actually done is I've got a hold of Dave Smith at CCC, and I bought the high volume oil pump shaft to put in Dave's saw, odiehorse 1. Not Dave, but odiehorse 1 for West Coast. And when I seen it, I go, yeah, that's what we used to do, but I like this shaft. Thanks, Dave. Okay, here's what he sent me. This is what I got. Yeah, and that's all of it I got. Yep, that's just going to be a project, isn't it? Now, I'm not sure why he quit running this. Oh, bottom end went out of it. That's why he did it. Okay, well, we're going to fix that too so that don't happen again. But this is what logging saws look like when loggers are done with them. They ain't no prize. He does have a unique muffler on this. He really does. But I think we can do a little better. Now, he has to run screens. So that's another thing we're going to cover. Okay, how do I get a performance muffler and still be forest safe when it's dry? We're going to go through it. I'll cover the whole 9 yards. I got Kevin Z's 046. I've been months trying to get to it. We're going to be building that at the same time we build this. I have to get Train Grows 372. It's just a common work saw, nothing special, just a good saw. He wants a good saw. Reliable, loyal. Yeah, still coughing a little bit. Feel better though, I really do. Tire out quick. Maybe that's because I'm old, huh? So, I probably won't show much of Train Saw until we run it. I am running saws and shipping them. I've got one here, sitting over here on the bench. That's it's a G660. It's the same saw as this, but it's whole form of blue one. That one I've had forever and ever and ever. Had a part a dozen times as a crank center line problem as well as a deck problem, and I had a heck of a time getting a cylinder on that without all kinds of issues. Finally did it. And then we went through carb issues, and it was every once in a while, every few years, I get one jinx saw, and that one's been it. And the guy is always mad and upset and throwing his butt. And you know what? If you're sitting here beside me, you'd take it home and feel sorry for me. But I told him we'd build him a good saw. It's good now. I hope. I just got to run it some more. I have run it some. I've taken to want to run these saws a lot more and a lot longer than I have in the past. It's just a better way for me. Odiehorse, you just aren't going to understand what you're going to get here. You're going to get loyal. It'll start good. It'll stay running. You ain't got to screw the carburetor all the time. This is what I'm building for you. Something that when you pull that out of the truck and you ride on a skidder, I assume that's what you do. That's what we do here. And get off. There's where it counts. Several pulls later, better be sitting there running. Let them warm up good. That's one thing. The reason I think this has been on the skidder a bunch, I recognize this. Yeah, that's a sure sign of a logging saw. That might not be what it is. I told him don't clean it. He was going to pressure wash it for me. I said, no. He says, why? I said, I want to see what your wood smells like. And he laughed. But there's more to it than that. What it does is it lets me know, as I disassemble, I can see where areas need improvement or where they don't, or what possibly happened. There's indications on the outside to what I may see on the inside. The one thing I know he's going to need a serious air cleaner. I'm going to do the same thing for him I do for my own saws. As good as steel is, they never was anywhere close to Husqvarna for air filtration. Let's just admit it. I know it's a Ford Chevy thing, but let's just call it what it really is. This is interesting. Very interesting. Now, I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on this cylinder for train. Hopefully tomorrow I can show you the breakdown of Kevin Z's 046 steel. And we might even show you the breakdown of this ms660 for odiehorse 1. I will be spending more time in the saw shop. When I got sick, it just couldn't happen at a worse time. It was right when I was first starting going in the greenhouse and trying to get things going for this year as far as gardening. We have a bad situation in this country, guys. We're just poor people, but we depend on our gardens. This year, I'll tell you what I did, and horses love it. I took some of the horse pasture and even made garden. Yes, I did. First time I ever did that. But we have a lot less horses. We don't have the draft horses anymore. So we just got the mules and the donkey and that quarter horse mare. They don't need near as much room. And but we planted some sweet corn up there. I'm figuring either the mules or the deer are going to get it. But the old timers used to look at it in hard times. You don't get just vegetables out of a garden. You know what I'm saying? You get your meat. But you got to be vigilant. Actually, what I'm doing is we're going to keep the electric on, but coons will get your corn. Something that works. 6-8 inches off the ground, run a third wire for electric. What do you think them coons do? You know how they got them little hands? Oh, yeah. I've seen them do backflips. They need that once. If you got 5 coons coming, they're all buddies, they see their friend just get whopped, they don't know what happened to them. They don't care. They're leaving. They're just like us, aren't they? It is. I want to talk to you about something. Hey, yes, weight loss. This is something important. In 3.5 months, I've lost 38 pounds. 38 pounds in 3.5 months. It might be 3 months, 3 weeks right now. 38. And that's no joke. The other day I was back at the VA again. They're trying to keep me alive. I think it's working. And when I weighed in, I couldn't believe it, and they couldn't believe it. It's like, wow, this is working. What's the difference? Diet, type 2 diabetes, unchecked, uncontrolled. Huge numbers, about killing me. Sicker than a dog last year. That's why we didn't do many videos. Now, I couldn't lose weight. I tried. You couldn't lose it. You get it 2, 3 pounds here and there, and next thing you know, boom, boom. Tell me why diabetes does that. I ain't sure either, but I'll tell you what. It's my sugar levels were insane. They're high still, but not bad at all. The doctors are just like crazy, like amazed. Diet change, total diet change. Everything I like to eat, I threw it out the window and started eating like a rabbit, And I got adjusted to that. At first, when you're a meat and potatoes man and you go for all this green diet like I did all at once, let's just politely call it really bad gas. But you don't want to leave the house for a little while after you get up because you might have to make a mad dash. It took me 2 weeks to adjust to that. I'm fine now, and I feel good. I can think clearly now. That's one nice thing. That big C, that was another one. Couldn't think. Brain turned to mud. When I first got going, trying to play catch up on everything on my personal life that had to be taken care of was horrible. I'd work, at first I started out working an hour, just easing into it, run right out of steam. Now I'm up to about 5 hours. That's good enough for me. That just plain is. There is several interesting saws that we will be doing this year. Several of them. Let me give you a hint. Let me just give you a hint. Everybody knows what's going on with the Wild Things. Yeah, them little 42cc Wild Things for Sawfest build. Okay, here's the cylinder that I'm using on one of the motors. This block I've got to actually bolt right up to this tiny little cylinder, okay? This is a proper 6-pedal reed cage. This is a really good clone of a Kean Air Striker carb, okay? Really good clone. Besides, it's pretty, isn't it? Okay, yeah, I know. Induction system is larger than a darn cylinder. Well, I'm going to tell you what, if you ever run one of these little buggers, you'll find out after you run logging saws, you grab one of these, it's like, oh, I don't even want to own this. But the one I've got runs good. Wild Thing I got really surprised the heck out of me. But I have one that isn't a Wild Thing. It's a Poolin Pro. That's a new one. No, I wouldn't own. I shouldn't say wouldn't own it, but I know it. You better build the heck out of one of them straddle saws. Yeah, probably not build it as a straddle saw, but this is giving you a little hint, just a little hint on where we're headed. Okay, now when the air intake side of the carburetor, yeah, these have got flat slide carbs. This is what I'm running. When your air intake side is bigger than your piston, you may want to rethink your game. But I don't have to. I know what I'm doing. And I'll carry that one all the way to the bank. This is going to be very interesting at Sawfest to run these kind of saws. They have a ms660 clone saw wars. You can build one of them and take it with you and compete against other people that builds one of the clone saws. I figure if I'm going to ruin it for them in their wild thing build, I probably shouldn't ruin it in that class too. But see, they got a better advantage than me. I don't build little saws. I really don't. I just got bright ideas sometimes out of little saws. But the bigger the saw, I'm a hard one to beat. Very, very hard. It's how willing am I of going too far is what does it. Clone saw, I don't care if that comes apart. And that's what you got to do. I'll build one and it'll go. It will. But an original steel, no, too hard to come by anymore. I build them as logging saws. That's why this saw for odiehorse 1 was important to me. I have a special place in my heart for loggers, arborists, firewood guys that are serious about firewood. Actually, if you're making a living on your power saw, you got my attention instantly. You do. You really do. Saws are a very important part of our life here. They really are. Guys, I don't even know how long this video is. 35 minutes. I hope I didn't bore you too bad. Tomorrow, I got some work to do first thing in the morning, taking care of vegetables, and I'll be back. And we're going to start having some real fun, building real saws, not just toys. Goodbye.